Hey guys, we are back. Sorry for the episode we skipped that one time and the episode last time that we didn't plan at all. But sad to say, we also didn't really plan this one, but it'll be fun. Don't worry. Check it out. Thanks for watching. Corporate crash out. Will you cash in or crash out? Have you heard about the job market right now?
Yes, I have heard some crazy things, and I was also at a career fair like last week. This is my first time on the other side of the table at the career fair, and you know, interesting stuff out there.
Who did you talk to? Who was like the most insufferable person that you talked to? Because I know there are some people.
I mean, so this is like an accounting career fair, so it's, a little tough, but
Guys.
the craziest thing that happened to me, we'll just start there, is a kid showed me a picture of him with a death row inmate sitting in the electric chair. Like he was, okay, sorry. The candidate, like the kid at the career fair was sitting in the electric chair and the guy on death row was by him and was like, they're like taking a selfie.
I honestly have no words, Claire. That's such.
I was like, and I had kind of joined the conversation. I wasn't the first person like in the conversation, like having a conversation with this student. But long story short, I guess he used to be like a contractor of some kind, and like they had a lot of prisons that they would go to and like fix things. And he was like, "Yeah, you'd be surprised. Like all the inmates are pretty nice, but the death row ones, they're the nicest. They'll be like, 'Hey, do you guys need some help? And do you want to take a picture? You want to see the
They're probably like want to lure people in.
I don't know, but I was just like, that's so bold to show like someone at a company at a career fair a picture of you in an electric chair with a prisoner. But I mean, it did relate to his past experience, and I guess what? I remembered him, so he stood out.
Guys, tips for this bad job market. I'm surprised they even sent you to a career fair in the job market we're having right now.
Yeah. But like it's a hard line to walk because as a company you don't want to like lose relationship with the different universities and their programs,
Yeah.
even if it's like you're not looking for someone or something, you need to show face and, you know, keep that door.
Yeah, and I think that's also one of the problems that we see is like sometimes it looks like there's more jobs than there actually are, but then you go to a career fair or something where you think people want to hire, and then it just turns out that they're actually just there to show face and have no interest in actually talking to you. So that's hard too.
No, 100%. And I think that there's just not enough, like, I don't want to say good candidates out there, but I just feel like the talent pool isn't meeting the need. And then it's like the people won't just take anyone because they're not looking for a ton of people. And it just like makes this weird gap between employers and entry level workers, I guess.
That's true. I feel like comp sci students though are having the worst time right now, which I think is so ironic because I think everybody went into comp sci, at least some people from high school that I knew, just to get like paid really well. And
Yeah.
unfortunate.
No, for sure. And it's like, I think a lot of people went into it thinking, like, oh my gosh, everything's going towards computer. We're going to need so many computer scientists. But I don't really know how much of a reality that is. And I'd have to obviously dig in and do some research on this. But I don't think it can be that much of a reality when, you know, it takes one computer scientist to start something that will, like, I feel like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, multiplies. Like, you don't need as many people because of like AI and like machine learning.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I think, I don't know, it's just this tough spot for everyone. I only know the one profession that apparently to the job, like announcement last week, the only thing doing really well right now is healthcare. Because the boomers are still old and they still need people to take care of them. So if you can't
Yeah.
find a job, try healthcare, guys.
Yeah. But then it's like also I feel like the programs and like maybe at the lower levels it's not as hard to get into. But to have any sort of certification in a healthcare program, I feel like those are pretty competitive usually and hard to get into. So it's I don't know, it's very interesting.
I guess more what I was talking about was like maybe even like corporate healthcare stuff too.
Oh,
Pharmaceuticals might still be doing like well, you know what I'm saying? Because people still need those. And especially like the GLP-1 drugs are really taking off right now. So,
yeah. Get skinny, everyone. Um, no, I was totally thinking of like nurses and CNAs and stuff. Like,
no, those two for sure. But I think on the corporate side, maybe there are some, I don't know, honestly. But I would that if I was unemployed and didn't have a job offer lined up, that's probably where I'd be running to first.
interesting. Okay. I also have been seeing a lot of like upper level corporate job postings. Like I feel like everyone's hurting for managers and directors and stuff.
Really?
At least in
I,
the accounting world. I could be like blanketly applying this to industries, but whenever I'm on LinkedIn, I see a ton of job postings for that level.
it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I feel bad for like, I know people say people like 2 years above us are having problems, but honestly, I feel like it's a lot of people who are in engineering and stuff and, thought they were going to get into comp sci. And now I see a lot of them returning on WashU's campus still to get their master's degree because they just don't know what else to do. But I will also say that, like, for engineering, typically I feel like more people get their master's degrees and you can get it right after undergrad, I guess. So maybe that's why too.
Yeah, but it's brutal out there and everyone's ghosting and I also feel like it looks like there's more jobs out there than there are in reality because people take forever to take job postings down.
Yeah, with LinkedIn, I will like we talked about this last time, they're way better at taking stuff down really quickly. Um, so I don't know. I haven't looked at LinkedIn in a bit. Whenever I go like back to school, I just don't have the time, I feel like. And at work I just get super bored, so I look at everything.
Imagine being bored at work. Crazy.
But yeah, like I don't know, grad school or like school is super interesting too. But everyone has been getting so sick and everybody's saying that like COVID is coming back and blah 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 blah. Which I'm not opposed to like virtual classes.
Katie's like, I'm bored. I don't want to go. Hey, you would have more time to scroll on LinkedIn if you were doing virtual classes.
I know. And like the other thing I just don't understand is like why why can't I have just like a few virtual classes here and there? I'm just really tired. I'm on my last semester. I'm just like, why? Why am I still doing this, Claire?
No, I actually totally agree with this because I could take a virtual day at work. So why not give that to students? It's more realistic of how the real world is these days is that, Fridays I'm going to be virtual. So you should have some virtual classes.
Yeah, and what's even worse is like I was sick one time, and so I was like, "Oh, hey, can I like attend class virtually? I don't want to miss any of the content because he doesn't post his like lecture slides." And he was like, "No, we don't do virtual classes per university policy." And I was like, "Oh."
No, that's so rude. But wait, can we rewind? People are saying COVID's back and that like everyone's getting it.
That's what I've been hearing. Like a lot of people have gotten COVID, and I don't know.
So, fun fact about my academic career. I don't know if you know this, Katie, but I'm the first recorded COVID case at WashU.
How? How, Claire? You
Okay.
never mentioned this?
So, flashback to, I'm sure there was a COVID case in the spring of 2020, but flashback to Claire starting college. It's August 2020, right? I had an early move in, and part of moving in my freshman year was like you go to this off-campus location before you're even allowed on campus and you get COVID tested. Then you go to campus while you're waiting for the test results to come back. And this is back when like they didn't have like the rapid test. Like it took like
Oh.
an hour or whatever to process it. And so you would go to your dorm and unpack, but you're not supposed to talk to anyone else. Like, don't talk to your suite mates. Like, only you and your family go to your room and like unpack your stuff. So, anyways, me and my parents go, we unpack our stuff. Like, my dorm room is so cute. My parents take a little picture of me sitting on my bed.
Oh.
It's, oh my gosh, like, we're dropping our last kid off at college. Bye. So they leave. And they had like planned this like trip to go to like some wineries nearby for like a day or two, just like celebrate, like, you know, we just took our last kid to college, whatever. And they are not even to the first stop yet, or no, they were in line to buy tickets for the first stop, like the first winery. And I like called or I got a call from WashU and they were like, hey, so like your test came back positive. We can move you to quarantine housing or you can go home. And before this, they had been like, oh, people will be in quarantine housing and so you guys can hang out with each other because if you both have COVID, who cares? And I'm like, okay, well, I'll make friends because like I feel like the first 2 weeks of college is so critical in friend making.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like are other people in quarantine? And they were like, no, you're the first one. And I was like, fuck this, I'm going home. So I called my parents and they came back and picked me up and we all drove home together like I never went to college. And then I came back 2 weeks later.
2 weeks?
Well,
Dang.
okay, another funny story about this is so after it came back positive, like I felt fine, but I started like reflecting on like the past couple weeks. And 2 weeks before that, like I had a really sore throat and like was really tired. But like I didn't even think of COVID because I was like gardening a bunch and I thought I like got into like something in the garden and like it upset my allergy. Like I thought I like got an allergy. And then I was like reflecting, I was like, oh shit, that was COVID. Yes, Katie? You look confused.
What do you mean about specifically?
I was gardening. And I thought
Like
like
real gardening?
Katie,
Like
I
flowers?
grew up on a farm. We had a lot of flower beds.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if you were speaking about something else. Okay, keep going.
I was, oh, no, I was like planting
Because you were like, my
flowers.
throat hurt, and then I was coughing, and I was
I'm like making mulch and stuff. Okay. I mean, I was also partying a lot, but whatever. That wasn't the point. I thought I just like got into something while I was gardening and like it got me a little sick. Wasn't too worried about it. Then I was reflecting on it. I was like, oh, I definitely like had COVID then because I had gone to a different college to go to a party like 3 weeks before. And like 3 weeks before going to WashU, I had gone to like this community college, gone to a party where then the whole baseball team that I was hanging out with had COVID after. But I didn't think about that. I was just like, you know, obviously was gardening and got sick. So anyways, long story short, I test positive. I'm like sitting here reflecting on my life and I'm like, oh, I had COVID like 2 weeks ago. No wonder I'm still testing positive. So I'm like so upset because I'm like, I'm going to have no friends if I'm not on campus. Like I have to get there. So I call the Missouri CDC.
no.
And I gaslight the fuck out of them. I'm like, look, WashU needs like they said I can't come back till I have some release document from the CDC of Missouri that because like they like sent the I don't know how this all works still to this day, but basically moral of the story is I was told when you get your release document from Missouri CDC you can come back. I said great, I'll get that. The next day I'm home, I get it. I get the document. I'm like, I had the symptoms 3 weeks ago, like, give me my document. I'm just still testing positive because the tests, that's how they used to be. Like, it could test positive for like months.
Mm.
And so, so then I call WashU. I'm like, boom, I got the document. Can I come back? And they're like, no. I know.
So did you have to pay for housing?
I don't know. I didn't even think about that. But so I just stayed home for 2 weeks and my best friend ended up being sick too and she came and lived with me for 2 weeks.
Aw, that's
So after I found out I had COVID, I told the people that like I had just been with. So she came and lived with me for 2 weeks, and then I went back to college and had no friends for a long time because of it. But and my roommates were like scared of me. They're like, "Ooh, bad. She has COVID. She's crazy."
Okay, but like obviously you were over it by the time you came back.
I know, but the really clutch part about it was I didn't have to test. Like we used to have to test weekly my freshman year, and I didn't have to test until like later on in my freshman spring.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Sorry, sidetrack about my random ass college story.
okay, one of the things I've been really wanting to do is match Starbucks drinks to people in corporate functions.
Ooh.
I think we can also make a meme about this on our page. But I think finance guys are black coffee and or maybe like a nitro cold brew.
Yeah, no, definitely nitro cold brew. Like they're too like embarrassed to admit that they don't really want to drink straight black coffee.
Yes.
And they think that like they're gonna gain aura points by the stronger their coffee is. But in reality, like if they like behind closed door, they're like chugging a latte. But like if you ask like if they go get coffee together, they get like a nitro cold brew because they want to be like on trend.
Yeah.
But also don't want to be frou frou.
Yeah, I totally think that. And then I also think marketing is clearly a pink drink. I think that's very obvious.
No, marketing is like whatever the newest drink to come out is. Like think Starbucks seasonal menu. Wait,
But okay, I feel like a lot of people get Starbucks seasonal menu. Who's matcha though? I feel like that's like a nerdy person.
who's matcha?
Yeah.
Ooh, HR? No.
Like HR is like so nosy.
I don't know who matcha is.
I don't.
If you know who matcha is, please DM.
Okay, we'll figure it out. We'll post on the Instagram. But if you guys have ideas, comment below. Okay, how is your work with AI, Claire? If you don't mind talking about it.
Yeah. Kind of interesting, honestly. It's really great because a lot of accounting, you have to read like these big, like, IRS or SEC documents. So it's really a great tool to summarize things. But I think it still has a long way to go on like technical items. Like I've definitely asked AI some questions in accounting and like literally for like a debit and a credit entry, and it came back and I was like, that's not right. But like it got me started along the right path. So I think it's definitely just like a work in progress because a lot of things in my specific industry are so like exact and so detailed and specific to like your scenario, but I think it's definitely really useful and I love asking it dumb questions throughout the day.
That's fair. I really like it for coding, obviously. Like, especially with my professors, they all are actually really okay. Everybody in the real world uses Python. Let me just clarify this. Like, you're not using R or MATLAB anymore unless you're like a very academic person and this is what you learned in college. And they all
Right.
want us to use R. And I'm like, please stop. Please. Actually, it's so bad. The like quality is bad. Like all the air, you get a bunch of errors every 2 seconds, whereas like Python will actually tell you what the error is. And then just like R is just super, I don't know. So I use it for that all the time because I'm like, okay, I know how to code this exact same thing in Python, but if I need help like figuring out what exactly the code should be in R, then I do use ChatGPT.
I
But
love
I allow it. It's fine.
I kind of miss coding though. I don't know if I would want it to write the code for me because I get some like satisfaction out of like typing out the code. You
I
know?
get action out of having free time, Claire. Actually. So
Actually, no, I think it's very interesting though. I think there's going to be a lot of replacements in the accounting industry eventually once I mean, it would really only take training. I think you could really hone it in. I don't know, now that I'm thinking about it, but it's just not there yet.
in my opinion, I think like it'll augment accounting and legal field so much because in there's just so much reading, so much paperwork, and it's like always some weird odd law you have to like find and search for. And I do think like AI, especially like LLMs, clearly could be really good at, you know.
I think it's going to be very good for really any job, but I'm thinking of mine specifically where you do the same thing over and over again, but each time it produces either like a different error you find or like a different weird thing that's off. So like if nothing else, just like identifying those so like you don't have to look for it and then you can just address it on the spot rather than having to pick through all the data yourself.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. Like one of my classes on it right now is just so cool. But it's like basically the whole thing is so crazy because it's like coming from a business perspective and then going to an engineering perspective. It's just like wild in the way people interpret things. Like in engineering, our professor was like, okay, how would you explain a decision tree? How would you explain like these other things? Like, and it gets more and more complex. And like some of us just do it and we don't really like sit and be like, okay, why are we doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are we doing, like, what are we accomplishing? What is happening like with the data? And like, I don't know who's asking us those questions. And so we'll have to like make an AI model and present it to investors, which is really cool, who like wouldn't know anything about AI or machine learning. And I don't know. I'm really excited.
That sounds fun.
But Emily wanted ours to be on um like some MRI imaging thing that I don't know anything about. So I'm gonna have to learn a lot, but that's okay.
It's okay. I mean, it's why you're in school, right?
Claire, I'm done learning. I've retired. I never want to learn again.
Well, guess what? All you're going to do for at least the first year of your job and really probably your whole career is learn. I think I had this realization today that I'm just never going to stop learning and I'm never going to like get a break. Like I just went from going to school from August to December and then January through May to just going to school 24/7.
I don't understand why we can't have the same breaks. Like, why do we have breaks in schools but not in work?
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you had like a very stagnant career or like something that's like really repetitive, like maybe you wouldn't feel the same way about everything just continuing learning. Do you know who Taylor Frankie Paul is?
Claire, this has nothing to do. Let's be real. This has nothing to do with the podcast.
It has to do with business because this is all I can think about today. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Hear me out. So we know Taylor Frankie Paul, Secret Life of Mormon Wives. Great. Didn't really care for the show personally.
Yeah, me neither.
I guess I can see the appeal. It's like every other trashy reality TV show. So, The Bachelorette chooses Taylor Frankie Paul.
Yeah.
The Bachelorette was a dying show.
Was it? I guess
Oh, yeah.
it was mostly The Bachelor, right? That got the most attention.
I feel like Bachelor Nation is what they kind of call them, like the umbrella. I mean, that's why they came out with like the old people Bachelor.
Oh, yeah.
They've been trying everything to save the show, and I think they just did it. Like, whoever's running this business really knows, like, they're doing a great job. They're about to save the show single-handedly. That's all I could think about when I heard the announcement was how strategic this is. Boom.
Wow.
Katie's really not sold.
I just like the thing I don't understand, and this also goes back to like influencers, and we can talk about that as well. Like this new kind of job category that is becoming an influencer, and like I feel like, okay, for that instance, for Taylor right now, she's probably doing well in regards to she's doing like a lot of collabs with a bunch of different things, but she's also like a mom working, so I can't even imagine like what that's like. I I don't know. I think it's weird because didn't Macy Neely, who's one of the people on the show, that's her name, right? She has a vitamin company or something.
I just love that how like the new thing is like you just get famous for doing nothing and then you randomly just launch a random business. I feel like this is like everyone these days. Like, oh, got famous for dancing on TikTok. Go buy my leggings. Oh, got famous for ranting on TikTok. I'm now selling organic juices. Like I feel like this is just the world now. It's so interesting.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because I think like any business at all that's just kind of very general. I think okay, so she did a gummy line, like a wellness vitamins, and so did Courtney Kardashian. She also did like the Lemmy gummies, and I think Alex Cooper just came out with her Unwell or this has been a work in progress, I guess, for her Unwell drinks. So I think it just says something like interesting about influencers and like the amount of disruption they can have to an industry which normally is so over flooded. Like think about Kylie Cosmetics and like Kylie Lips. Makeup is like I feel like one of the most over flooded markets. You do not see like a lot of product repeatability. You don't see people going back and buying the same products. It's really just like this new product launch, this one, this one, this one. And it's all based about like trends. So maybe that's why like they get so much money. And also you saw that with Rode. I don't understand how Rode is valued at $1 billion. Sorry, Haley Bieber, but I actually like kind of good for you. I'm not saying that like in a negative way. I'm just so confused, like how that constitutes $1 billion business.
It's because you're really just selling yourself, like you're selling your image.
Okay, but here's the thing though. What happens when I sell Road, like Haley Bieber's gonna do, like Kylie Cosmetics did? What happens when I sell that? It dies. I mean, that's what happened with Kylie, like, and then her line died. So I'm like, who would buy that? You know
No,
what
so like for me, then it's like at some point there's kind of a cap because you can only do so much. You know, it's like making this whole new market of just like celebrity products almost.
Well, it's like I just don't understand how they're because the way to get their money out of it basically is like obviously like make a profit, but like if you don't, they don't, really don't like managing stuff long term. And like which I agree with. If I made a huge business, I'd probably also sell it, just get the cash out of it, at least for a while, so I can do other things. But I don't know. I just don't understand like who their sellers are. Like I know it's some of these like large beauty firms, but I'm like, what's gonna happen to your products when they're not the face of it anymore? I don't know. It's just really interesting. So I wonder what like what these people's plans are. Like Macy Neely, like I wonder what her plan is if she's gonna sell it or do something else. But
Yeah, I genuinely don't know, but I also think it's kind of alarming how easily consumers get sucked in to like
yeah,
all these different influencers and will literally buy whatever shit they'll shove your way.
that yeah. See that to me, it's like I don't know because I can't tell how much of it is real and how much of it is not. Because I know, remember that when that Kylie Cosmetics thing came out of her being a billionaire, and then Forbes retracted it because she apparently like fudged the numbers and some of her whatever. So then is it like, okay, I'm gonna say like I'm gonna put my face on it. I know I'm valuable as a person, and then I guess apparently she didn't make the product. She just like did white labeling, which if you don't know what that is, it's like when you get a product from another brand that already creates it and then put your own label on it. So very similar to what they do in like Publix. They'll have like Publix brand of Rice Krispie treats, but it's really Rice Krispie treats that makes it and they put it, whatever. Um, but yeah, and I was just like, I don't understand like if it's truly her marketing that's good or if it's just that the numbers look good enough. And then they also, I know she drove like just a lot of urgency by having everything sell out really quick. So I feel like that also made it seem like a more, lucrative than maybe it was.
It just
But I
all
don't know.
feels so schemy to me. And I'm just like, I just find it so odd that we all sit here and scroll through like TikTok and Instagram and just let people get rich off of doing like stupid hand waving motions.
What like gets me though, I think, is that some of these people actually just were always rich, and then I hate it when people are like, "Oh, well, they got rich now." Like, no, this is what you're promoting. Like, you're promoting people with Gucci bags and people with like all these designer brands, the exact thing a lot of people, at least in our generation, are fighting against and say they don't want. And now they're just like making all these influencers so popular. Like the amount of people that follow Alex Earl and things like that, I'm just actually shocked. Like I genuinely like sometimes just look through like who I'm following that follows them, and it's a surprising amount of people. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
I mean, I've never been big on like celebrity culture. That's
me neither.
I just I can never really get behind that. Like I've always found concerts to be a weird phenomenon too. Like we're all gonna gather in this weird place. Like we're all gonna gather in a place and we are just gonna like sing at this person their songs and we're just like gonna pay $600 to see a human
Yeah.
being.
I I also okay, thank you for saying this because I also do not understand. I've been to like maybe like one or two concerts and like sure the cheap ones are fun, but like I don't understand why I would sit in a theater to have somebody sing a song that I've already listened to on Spotify. And maybe I'm just super lame. Maybe I don't get the vibes. I don't get it. But like, why would I pay so much more money for that? And like, oftentimes I feel like they try to change the way they sung the song to make something different, to have like a differentiator. And then it's worse. And I'm like, well, I came here and it's just like worse than I don't know.
For me, it's just like so you buy the $600 ticket. Well, now you have to buy an outfit and you spent $50 on that. And now you have to go to dinner beforehand and it's another $100. And then you have to Uber there because you want to drink while you're there. And then it's another $50. And then it's like, oh, well, this concert's actually in another city. So I'm going to get a hotel. And it's just like, where do you stop? Like,
Yeah,
like you're literally spending this on someone you don't fucking know because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing.
that's
Like
so.
you're handing Taylor Swift $1,200, insane to me.
Yeah, and I feel like there are some things that I'm like, okay, with Tate, like I might actually go to like a Tate concert just because her dancing is really cool. And I feel like the stage presence she has, at least to me, is like much stronger than a lot of these other artists who literally just get there like with the mic and stand there and sing. I think like she just
This brings me. I'm so glad you brought up Tate because this is exactly my argument. She's actually going to be in town tomorrow night and I don't have tickets and I'm really sad. But bring back pop stars. They're supposed to be
yeah.
performers. Like Tate is the next Britney Spears in my eyes. Like I think that when we look back, she's the Britney Spears of now. And like that's like I understand going to a show to be entertained, but like these singers who just stand there aren't cutting it for me. I
Mhm.
don't like Benson Boone, but I will say the clips I see of him on TikTok, like he puts on a good show. Like
I've
do
never
a flip. Do a flip for me.
But like I think it's so funny too because the thing that all these like labels would tell Tate, and she did like a YouTube video, I guess, about this or something, but was that she couldn't dance. They were like, if you want to pursue music, you're not allowed to dance. You cannot like get into dancing. You have to niche yourself down. And I feel like that's what I hear on TikTok. That's what I hear on Instagram. Everybody wants like all these like agencies, all these labels are telling people to niche themselves down. I think that is the worst thing possible to do in like honestly just anything. I don't know because I think the interesting thing about people is that you have multiple parts of your life. And I think sharing multiple parts of your life just makes you more interesting as a person. I still think that, like, we were talking about that for our resumes and how you were like, oh, we'll put, you're in Kappa Delta, put that you like doing fun hobbies because people relate to that. And so I think that's also a huge component of just like life, like just post interesting stuff. And I don't know.
Yeah, but on the same note, this will get me back onto Taylor Swift theory. I think that's like why people get so wrapped up in her because she shares too much of her personal life and too many opinions that aren't related to why she's famous. And then people feel like they actually know her. And it's like this whole toxic, like, cycle, in my opinion. And I think this is what gets people hooked a little bit.
Because I was wondering, like, what makes Taylor Swift, like, I mean, I never really listened to her music, but I used to, obviously, when I was younger, and it's very nostalgic for me. But I don't know. I was like, she's one of the people I think who has, like, just kept her famousness, if that's a word, her notoriety. Like, for so long. And I was like really surprised at that because I don't know. And I honestly don't know how she does it. But the other thing I want to talk about too is like, okay, obviously we're getting kind of derailed, but I think like the point of this whole episode is that we're going like beyond just corporate life. It's like other opportunities for money and what we see from like influencers, artists, and things like that in businesses. But
All business at the end of the day. You scrolling through TikTok is making someone money, so
and as we move into like this weirder and weirder job market where people are struggling to find jobs, and I think there's a lot more influencers, at least I feel like I've noticed, tried to come up on TikTok and other things. Like we know a few people at our school who've been like working on their influencer brands. And I just think it's so interesting. And like going back to that business topic we were talking about, I think it's like almost if you want to have a general kind of business like lip gloss or gummies or something like that, you are going to have to do some marketing. And that's what that is. It's like influencer marketing. People have to know you and your story before they actually know your product, and it makes them feel like more emotionally attached to it or something. And I think that's going to be a huge thing that we'll keep seeing. And I honestly don't understand, like, on that point, why a lot of influencers don't fully, engage with that. Like, why they don't fully go into a business, because I feel like that could be very profitable. But
yeah.
I,
I understand that and I also don't. I think it's just I don't I don't know how many times I'm going to say weird in this episode, but it's just weird to me that like people don't go to the store anymore and like I'm going to pick this lip gloss because I truly think it makes my lips look shinier, you know?
yeah. Well, I think it's also like, okay, one of the things I will say is like, maybe it's because you're saying like, oh, like I'm not picking it just because it's like the shiniest lip gloss or whatever. But I think like on if I'm already following like Kylie Jenner and then I see she has like a lip brand, like maybe it's just like exposure to more people that you don't even have to pay for. Like cut all the marketing costs, cut the like like multi-million dollar
Yeah.
super ad to reach the same people. I mean, like you don't even have to pay for any of that. So, and the other thing, what I think is so interesting too, and this also confuses me, is for like Skims and like some of like Kim Kardashian's brands, why she doesn't always appear in all the ads herself. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Because if she was really, like, if I think about this, if it is really about her face, if it is, I don't know if she's worried about overexposure at this point, but if you look at the models, they're not her. And I feel like for me, if I created a clothing brand, I'd want like a few of the pieces to
Yeah, I'm not
be.
talking everyone is modeled by her, but like maybe on like when they drop a new line, she's like in the 7 people because I feel like they always have like multiple people in like the shot.
Yeah. So I like, but I guess it's also just being like maybe busy or whatever. Her, like, I don't know. But I also think that's interesting. But
Yeah.
this is what I wanted to talk about. Sorry. So I think one of the biggest misconceptions to me and like the whole world for a while was that actors, like all these actors, you see them, they're like, wow, they must have worked so hard to get where they are. Or maybe influencers, you feel that way as well. And like obviously, like Addison Rae is doing, like a music thing now.
Oh, don't get me
But,
started on that.
but what I really never realized, and this is alleged, first of all, I'm not even gonna like say any facts, but like if I do, they're alleged, is that I didn't know a lot of these people how they start and how some bigger names start, like the Kardashians and things, is that they did like yachting. I had no idea that that was a thing.
They did yachting?
Yeah, so
Like
yachting,
boat?
yes, I did not realize this. Okay, it's actually insane to me, but if you go back and like look at all the news and like all the Reddit feed and stuff like that, it's stop. It's actually real though. So what people do is if you want to become famous and like you just want like money, or if you know, I don't know, just to meet powerful people, you'll like go on these boats and they'll hire like models essentially. So I don't know if you've heard of like promotional modeling, but it's like people who just want like good looking people at their events so more people will come and like whatever. So rich people throw these parties with, obviously they want hot girls there, so they hire the hot girls, and then the hot girls can meet people, but sometimes are asked to do more sexual favors and things like that. And the problem with this is that some people have realized that if you go out, like on the boat, you're in international waters. And I think this is why, you kind of get this whole Jeffrey Epstein Island vibe thing, because technically,
You can skirt the prostitution laws.
yeah, essentially. But the other thing I will
Allegedly,
say,
guys, allegedly.
but the other thing I'll say with that too is like, it's also really dangerous for women because you're out there. There's probably like no cell reception. Nobody's going to come get you. You think like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like leaves you in a vulnerable position. But my point, I guess, here is that there was this story of Kim Kardashian. Again, I guess like it's picked up by news. So, but just in case, alleged, of her meeting this guy who was like, I forget, he's from somewhere in East Asia and he's like a billionaire. And she was carrying, like, early in her career, a trash bag full of $250,000 in it back one night from like hanging out with him. And then saying like, oh, she helped him win in gambling and he gave her the money. But like, and then you can see the old pictures of them, the old ads of them being like, I don't know, it's so weird. I went down this rabbit hole. So, especially with media, I didn't realize how prominent this was in our society. So, when women on TikTok just go and they like look good and get really famous instantly, I'm going to tell you that is not always it. Like, there are reasons why people get to be runway models, there are reasons why people get to be famous actors. And it doesn't mean you're worse than them. It just means that they're exploring other avenues. So, I just wanted to put that out there because that was something I
It
learned.
always comes down to knowing someone, I feel like.
Yeah, and I feel like it's how you like get to meet those high level people, but I think that's like really what helps obviously the Kardashians and like the fact that she had her first okay, allegedly she had her first surgery when she was married to this guy and then she got like $5 million or something in the divorce and after only marrying him for 4 years. But she got married at 19 too. So I was always just like thinking about it and comparing myself and being like, okay, well, not comparing myself, but like kind of using it as a case study to figure out why these people got crazily successful. And I was just like, there's no way. And then I found this and I was like, that makes so much more sense. No offense, not that these women aren't like couldn't be incredibly successful on their own, but it's also just the networking part is just very difficult.
I just think, yeah, if you like pulled the percentage of people who just like made it on their own, just like it's like more like luck. Whereas putting yourself in these different scenarios is going to produce a lot more of these like influential celebrities who aren't really famous necessarily for like a specific talent or skill. They just like got famous.
Yeah. And like the same thing with like, okay, with Alex Cooper, apparently she dated this guy who is like a sports person. I forget who it was. But apparently that's what her got her a ton of attention because she was like dating him. And also I want to couple that with the fact that her dad owns like a or works for a production company. And so she knew like how to she knew connect, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, and I'm like, and she before that she even produced like little like vlogs or whatever, which I think got her more notoriety. But I just think it's like interesting that like, you know, it's not that I don't think these people are successful in their own right. Obviously they are, but it's just like it's not being good isn't always just enough. And I think that's some really sad thing that like
Yeah.
might just perpetuate itself with social media. I think it already has. But anyways, that's my rant.
Well, we've really derailed. Well, not really derailed. I think I could go on and on about the topics of, you know, celebrities and influencers and the business of it, but it's a really deep hole. I don't know, but you guys should join us if you we've been going live some on TikTok.
Yeah, that's what's really gonna get us, guys. We like aren't gonna do the yachting thing, but the TikTok lives are really.
You know, we draw the line at yachting, but if you're a billionaire and you want to join our TikTok live and give us our start, then you know, we'll see you there. Thanks for listening to our rant about influencers, celebrities, and random ass business topics. We'll see y'all next week. Thanks for listening. Drop any ideas you may have or want to hear about in our link tree. Thanks.